Hi everybody, my name is Glenn Baker. I want to share with you something that I'm very passionate about in the years that I've been in the industry. For both myself and my business partner, Peter Mahoney, many years ago, when we were in our salons day in and day out, it was a really interesting journey for us. We did what was called a quality of life survey, probably 20 years ago, to anonymously ask people how they felt about working in the company. And it was quite an interesting journey for us, because when we get the results back, the key thing that people said to us was there's a high degree of lack of self-confidence in people, lack of self-worth in people, and lack of self-esteem. And so the journey for us really became how do we look at this lack of self-confidence that people have, and how do we change and mold that into what it needs to become? And so the question people always say is, when I do not have that level of confidence, or I'm not really believing in myself, where does that come from? And for us, what we learned was that how people think, so what goes into my mind determines how I see things in my life, my business, myself, my relationships. How I see things determines how I feel. So the greater it is I have an overview of myself and my life, it determines how I feel about things. And how I feel determines what it is that I do, my actions and my behaviors, which ultimately leads to the results that I get in my life. And so we speak to this model a lot in the summit, see, feel, do, get. And what we've learned about lack of self-confidence in people is, if people want to have a certain level of result in their life, it goes back to how they see themselves. But ultimately, what precedes how they see themselves, it's how they think and what goes into their mind. And what we've learned is what precedes how people think is something that's called conditioned beliefs. And conditioned beliefs are experiences, they're facts that people have become ingrained in their mind and in their body over many years, that affects how they think and how they see themselves as individuals. And some of the conditioning beliefs we have can be good, they can be very powerful for us, and sometimes the conditioned beliefs might not be that great. And so where does this lack of self-confidence really come from? I believe it could come from your childhood, it could come from when you went to school, how you did in school, the relationship you had with people around you. I think all of these factors have an impact whether or not you're going to have a strong belief in yourself, a strong level of confidence in yourself. And I think, as a leader today, people always say, well, we're in the business of growing people, then we've got to make sure that our behavior fits the fact that we're in the business of growing people. And I think really when you look at self-doubt and you look at self-confidence in people, we as owners, we don't have to be psychologists, we don't have to be psychiatrists, but I think we have to invest time and energy to be able to help people to understand how they can maneuver through that area. I just want to give you a couple quick tips. Number one would be, how do I move from having this lack of self-confidence to a level of belief in myself? Number one would be being dedicated to your career. Waking up every day, having a vision of what it is that you want in your life, or that level of purpose. Because when I'm focused on what it is that I want in my life, I have a tendency to do more things day in and day out that's going to lead me to that vision of what I want, versus listen to other people around me. So number one, let's just all of us get more dedicated to the career we have and what it is that we want in our life. Number two, I've got to become very mindful of what's happening in the run of a day. The more time and energy I can spend on, I always like to call it this circle of control, which is my mind, my body, my spirit, my beliefs, my values, the things that I deem to be important in my life. The more time and energy I can focus on those areas, then I'm not worrying about what's happening around me, the people that are beside me, because I'm so consumed on, number one, my career, and number two, I'm concerned and consumed about what I have to be doing day in and day out to make better choices of how I'm going to spend my time. Number three is surround yourself with the right people. In life, you always have to be asking yourself the question, am I surrounding myself with people that are going to be leading me to where it is I want to be in my life? I remember reading a quote once and it said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so when you think of that, how I improve my level of self-confidence, I've got to surround myself with people that are going to be lifting me up, that are going to be helping to support where it is that I am, and most importantly, where it is that I want to be going as an individual. Number 4 is focus on the I call them the micro or the mini wins. And what I mean by these wins is in the run of a day, when I look at my day, am I taking time the night before my day to plan my day? And you know, for many years, this is how I try to live my life every day, is I take 15 or 20 minutes the night before and I plan fully my day. Why does that help my confidence? Because it gets me very much focused on understanding, number 1, what it is that I want to accomplish throughout the day. Number 2, it helps me to maximize my time. And number 3, it gives me time to enjoy the things that I like to do and the people I like to be with in my life. Don't get me wrong, we all have very busy lives, but as a leader, the more effective we can be as individuals in terms of what we're doing every day, it helps us to understand how we can celebrate these wins. And I think all of this comes down to the fact that as a leader, we're in the business of growing people, not growing sales. And the people we have to grow is, number 1, ourselves as leaders. And sometimes we have to put that mirror in front of ourselves and understand that we're all human, we're all going to have good days, we're all going to have not so good days. But our journey is about trying to have the greatest level of confidence in ourselves. And how do we make these deposits in the people who we work with that we love every day? I call this like an emotional bank account, which is made up of these deposits and it's made up of withdrawals. And as a leader, the more deposits I'm putting into people, the more confidence that I'm giving people. And number 2 is the more deposits I'm making, the day's going to come when I have to make a withdrawal, and that's okay. The withdrawals to me in this emotional bank account are really ways that I'm able to hold people accountable for their careers. So this journey of moving from people that have lack of self-confidence to getting people to become more confident is, I believe, a day-to-day journey. Our role as leaders is to be able to help people to feel better about who they are, what they see every day, but most importantly, where people are going in their lives, and not only as it relates to the business, but where they're going on a personal level. Hope this helps you. Thank you.